Hello, everyone. Welcome to Developing Palates. I'm Aaron Loomis coming to you from the Drew Estate Studio. With me today is Jiunn Liu, Seth Geist, John McTavish. How you guys doing this evening?
Go Brownies.
We're coming in hot tonight. This is gonna be a good review. We got a lot of energy coming in tonight, so I think the next three reviews we're doing, they're probably not gonna be in order. So it's gonna be like Tenet. No one's gonna understand what the hell's going on, but it's gonna be exciting.
All right, so today we are talking about the Fonseca by My Father Cedros. Cigar is a Toro 6.25 by 52. Comes out of the My Father factory in Nicaragua. Wrapper is Nicaraguan Crojo 99. Binder and filler both from Nicaragua. Price point is $11, and the cigar was released in August of 2020. So with all that out of the way, June, what was your overall experience like with this cigar?
I thought it was a good cigar. I thought it was pretty balanced. It's got some good like spice, wood, cream kind of notes. Some nice sweetness to it. The only letdown was uh, like starting from the second third, I started getting like a drying kind of a finish. And that dryness kind of carried through on the final third, which is probably honestly like the only letdown of the cigar. But I was pleasantly surprised of how much I liked it.
All right, Seth, what were your thoughts?
I thought it was a good cigar throughout, beginning to end. Nice flavor profile. Cedar, some barnyard. There's hay. There's a little bit of red pepper. Some cream notes. There wasn't like tons of complexity, but there's a little bit of transitioning. It had some depth. It was balanced. Really good construction. I thought the cigar was also just beautiful in presentation. I thought it was amazing. So that one's for John. So that's good cigar.
All right, John, what were your thoughts?
I'm gonna agree with my cohort Seth. The presentation was very good in the cigar. It had a lot of elements going on. Yellow footband, the cedar with the etched embossing on it, burnt in embossing. Really well done. Really good packaging. And I'm always concerned when I see good packaging because sometimes you're just putting lipstick on the pig. And no offense to my father, but they've had some suspect releases this year. I'm very happy to say this was like a good cigar and very surprising in every good way. June kind of pretty much nailed on my talking points. It had a really balanced, nuanced sweetness. I really found myself halfway through the first third going, this doesn't taste like my father's cigar. Like there's no aggressive pepper. There's no, like everything isn't dialed to nine. There's actual nuance and balance. And I can't believe that this is a Nicaraguan puro on top of that. So take note, Dominican blenders who try to make Nicaraguan puros. It doesn't have to be all pepper and earth and leather. You can blend a nuanced, balanced, and flavorful and enjoyable cigar with entirely Nicaraguan tobacco. Like June said, the halfway point of the second third, it started to kind of decline a little bit. And then the last third, still enjoyable, but definitely in the average category. My burn was excellent, although the wrapper cracked part of the way through, which I think it's just because it's a bit of a thin wrapper, and I'm up here in Canada, and what are you going to do? But I did have some significant resistance to the draw, or medium resistance to the draw, like 3 and 3.5 inches, three to 3.5 notches. Pardon me. So it wasn't a detraction, but surprised me a little bit. Aaron, walk us through your experience.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of anticipation behind this release because of this long storied brand and My Father taking it over, and people were curious to see kind of how My Father was going to put their kind of spin on it. I thought the first third had a nice flavor profile, but by the second third, it became a bit linear, pretty basic in the flavor profile the rest of the way. The first third I thought was not very My Father-esque. But by the second third, it started going down that path and was pretty much on par with a lot of the things that I typically get out of My Father blends. So it kind of just finished up about where I expected it to be. I wrote this review before I had smoked the Casacos Vitola, and I said I was looking forward to smoking that cigar, but that my mind has been changed by that. I'm not sure that I'd really revisit the cigar. It wasn't different enough from what they make. So I could probably just go to any of the blends and find something similar to this. All right, let's get into the scores. We're going to start at the top with Seth at 6.92. June was next at 6.57. John gave it a 6.27, and I gave it a 6 even. So Seth, how'd that 6.92 match up for you?
One, I like how the close of the scoring. It's not
Yep.
close, but it's pretty close.
Yep.
And I think it hits a perfect. I think. Listen, who would have thought that in 2020 we'd be saying My Father just released a really good Nicaraguan puro? I didn't think that would happen. I think it's really good for them because I think it shows a potential of where they could get the tobacco when they start using this tobacco more. It's better than some of the Aganorsa stuff. It's really different than a lot of the My Father other stuff, which is kind of interesting because it's kind of taking that Fonseca approach, but it's a little bit softer. I think it's an easy cigar. I'd like to see it a little bit more complex, and I think it would even be a really good blend.
All right, Jiunn, 6.57.
I thought it was good. I don't know. For My Father, it's been such a miss for their new stuff for the last few years. So I kind of came in and just kind of thinking, I don't think it's really going to be anything special. But I really like that. I would happily smoke more of these. I want to check out the other sizes as well to see what they're like as well. But I was happy with this cigar.
All right, John, 6.27.
Yeah, man, I'm with Jiunn. I think first of all, my score would have been a bit higher if the draw would have been resistant. I had similar thoughts going into this combination of Fonseca, which, I was like, why did they buy the brand in the first place? That seemed like such an odd move. I mean, I understand it's a predicate, but I was like, that just seems like a brand that you really wouldn't want to dive into in this market. So that coupled with it being My Father, I was like, they're just going to release, whatever My Father blend they got lying around and label it Fonseca. I do not get that impression at all. I mean, this, unlike a lot of the releases in 2020, this gives me the distinct impression of a blend that's been worked on and worked on and worked on to come up with a final product, which I think delivers. Like I said, I think my score is a little bit low, and that's really just to do with the draw. Aaron?
My C6 even matches up. I mean, it's a slightly above average flavor profile, but it has really good construction, and that's just kind of what gets it to that 6 mark. So, I mean, yeah, the score is what it is. But all right, final thoughts time. This time to get a little dirty here. So, I have a question about the band. The band is just a My Father band with Fonseca on it. Like,
Yeah,
the
literally.
colors,
Listen.
everything is exactly the same, right?
There's too much. If you look at the box too, it's very My Father-esque in the fact that they're so insecure that they have to put My Father on every single thing. I mean, it's really irritating, and I hate it when they do it. Like, I understand being proud of the name and so forth, but like, take it down a fucking notch. It's a little over the top.
I can't tell because I mean this is just insider baseball, but I can't tell whether it's they were concerned about going too far outside of the brand portfolio in terms of the packaging design because it's a new brand to them, or it's because there was a deadline getting it to market and they just didn't have packaging. But I would agree that I don't think that's the right packaging for this cigar. I think the packaging needs to be changed up. It needs to be not necessarily unique, but it does need to have its own
Identity.
character. And yeah, it's if I was a retailer, I would probably be hesitant to put these on the shelves because I feel like they would be lost alongside all the other SKUs. So that's, I don't have a marketing degree. Take that as a feedback, as a guy's been in the industry for a decade now.
I think they should have used baby blue. I really like baby blue.
Seems to be popping in 2020.
Yeah.
Or pledge blue or EPC pledge blue, may I say?
I don't know. Everything that came out with that color this year, I don't think is done well. But maybe that's just
the packaging. I think is the worst part. I think if you go into it thinking that, I don't know, it's a really good Nicaraguan puro for them, especially when they haven't produced something really solid in a long time.
How many Nicaraguan puros have popped this year? Like 0?
Well, I mean,
Seth likes one a lot.
Yeah, we could talk.
Yeah, we can talk about that offline.
But Dominicans made it. Dominicans made it.
This is the first one.
No, but it's one of these things. To me, there's, I don't know. I think what I enjoyed about it is I think that we have the potential to see something really good when they actually get down to Nicaragua.
Hell yeah.
It was nice to smoke something from My Father that was pretty good and not just like, God, this sucks.
I don't want to sound like a dick, but like it does get me excited to think if they can release something like this, that gives me hope for 2021 that maybe they have other projects like this in the works, because if you can come out with something like this as a Nicaraguan Puro, please keep doing cigars like this, please, or along the same lines.
Yeah, and I know you guys said that you thought it was very like on my father-ish, but I thought it was very much that from the second third on, and that disappointed me quite a bit with this cigar because, and I think it goes along with what Seth's saying is about the insecurity of not being able to step away from what you do normally, because one is you have this brand that you bought, it's 100% a kind of a an established name that people know, right? It's got some cachet to it. You can't get away from your own, packaging and marketing and all that stuff to do that. And to me, they didn't get enough away from the blend. So I'm going to make a parallel here with Padron. So Padron creates Damaso, right? And it's so far away from what they do that people kind of poo-poo it because it's not Padron, right?
Is that why they poo-pooed it, or they poo-pooed it because the blend was terrible?
Partially. I'm going to say partially.
I think we poo-pooed it because they did not know what the fuck they were doing.
Right. But here is, my father has the opportunity to blend something very different than what they normally do under a brand that's not My Father, right? So they have its own thing. Like, this is the perfect opportunity to do something really different. And I just felt like it was like, I have so many like tangents here. Like, to me, this is a cigar aficionado cigar. It's like the good first third, and then nobody's smoking the other 2/3, so it doesn't matter what the blend is, right?
You forget about it. You just accept it. You just accept it for what it is.
Yeah. So, like, I just felt like this could have been, and the social media buzz.
Kill it too.
How would you have?
The social media buzz from the media people on this drives me fucking nuts. Like this,
What?
like
Is there a lot of
buzz
buzz for this?
All the like, okay, Dan Reeve and these other guys are like, this is the cigar of the year. Dan Reeve bullshit. 100% bullshit.
Let's put our dick back in our pants for a second. It was a good cigar.
It's a fine cigar, but
it's a fine cigar.
Well,
but
does Coop like it? Is going to be on the Coop top 25?
I think Coop enjoyed it.
It wouldn't be till next year anyway. So. Yeah. So
how would you have blended this differently? Like what were you looking for?
Based on what I experienced from the cigar, what they did in the first third, if they could have kind of maintained that going through the rest of the cigar and it didn't like kind of just like degrade into like a standard passable My Father blend, that would have been great to do. But you could have just done like gone very different in the direction of the cigar, like Fonseca, it could have been a much mellower strength profile. It could have been a lot more nuanced. This is just my opinion because you guys obviously really like the cigar. And the fact that this got above a 5 something from me kind of irritates me a little bit because it's really just construction based. It's not flavor based. So,
well,
let me, because the cigar is just, it's easy. It's really, I mean, the cigar itself is just easy to smoke. There's nothing overly challenging about it. It's just kind of,
that's a good thing.
Yeah, you kind of get into it, and it's like the first third grabs your attention, and then you can just kind of sit back and just relax.
I just want to rebut the. I mean, obviously, taste is subjective, but I am definitely probably the most My Father fanboy in the group, given the number of boxes of My Father sitting in my humidor. And if you'd asked me to smoke this blind, My Father wouldn't have even been in the top 30 factories that I would have guessed that this was from. Like, there's no, when you smoke a cigar and it's got that, we all know it, that DNA that tells you what factory. Even in the last third, when it kind of faltered a little bit, there was just no My Father DNA in that profile. Like, I would have put this on Saka before I would have put this on My Father.
It's more of a it has more of this like combination of like a really soft Oliva or like an Oya Nicaraguan.
Exactly
quality. Right. It's kind of like an old school.
It's an old sophisticated
Nicaraguan.
Right.
Photo. Yeah.
This is what Nicaraguan cigars used to be, 15 years ago.
And Seth, how many of the Vitolas have you smoked? Just 2 or more than 2?
I smoked the Toro and the Corona. I mean, they're really different.
Look at me with nice weather and no winter.
And I think the Corona, I think, is more. The Corona is more My Father.
Freedom, I like freedom.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
the Corona's
Freedom
stronger
fries.
than the Toro.
Interesting. Well, that makes
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I
But
mean, yeah, because it'd be. I
Well, we
mean,
got both.
well, I think it'll be interesting to see how this project continues. I mean, it could very well be that they did the standard thing, they blended it for Robusto Toro, and transitioning into a smaller ring gauge presented a little bit of a challenge. And if you're experienced at blending a particular style, maybe you reflexively go into that. So the Corona might be more My Father esque, whatever, than the Toro.
What was interesting when we were talking about reviewing the cigar, Seth brought it up right away that he wanted to grab it and he wanted to grab this size. And I said, I want the Casacos. So we kind of had that discussion about it. And then when we got to the point where we were getting ready to pick which one we are going to do the review on, I said, all right, Seth, tell me which one you think is going to work out best. So he said, do the Cedros. So we did the Cedros and he was correct. So
Nice. Good call, Seth.
It's a good cigar, man. I thought
It's a
it
good
was
cigar.
good.
It'll be
I
interesting
think-
to revisit it in the other sizes for sure.
what are you
It
going to say,
has
Seth?
potential. It has potential. Do I think the blend could be better? Yes, I do. I think it could be, and I think they could have kept to this area. But I still think it's a good cigar.
Hell
But
of a
Aaron, you're
first
saying
cigar
you
in the
want
new
the
launch.
blend to be different, right? You're
I don't
not
want it.
caring
I don't
if
want a my. I don't want a My Father cigar. I want
Right.
a. I want a new Fonseca.
Fonseca by My Father, not My Father Fonseca.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
It's almost like if the new Dissident came out and it tasted exactly like the old Dissident.
I would have been happy with that too. But
Is this the longest review we've done of 2020?
It may be.
I feel
Long
like,
one.
but I
And
and this
feel
is
like
really
remember
just
what the
a.
heck-
The
This is
viewers
just
are gonna
a
be
rant
like, "Gosh, shut the fuck
That's
up."
tagged to a cigar review.
it's gonna be a tough share for everybody.
All right.
Um,
Any other final thoughts, or we're gonna stop
Like
beating this
like
horse?
Seth said, man, you know what? My message to my father is impressed. If you can come out with more along this line of thinking, which is such a departure for me of what is really most of my father portfolio, I think you're gonna have a lot of success with it.
And with all the shit we talked, it's still gonna do well on our top 25 list. So,
Yeah,
so
man.
just keep that in mind.
It's a good thing.
Can't give too much love. People think we're
It's-
fanboys. You don't
yeah,
want people thinking
exactly.
we're fanboys.
Plus, this review will come out after the list comes out anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Oh, nice.
All right. If you're just catching this video on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to us. Check out the full written review on the website, developmentpalates.com. Follow us on the social media channels, and you can catch all of our review recaps on podcasts. So iTunes, Google Play, and Podbean. Thank you for tuning in. We will catch you on the next one.
My father.
Bye, Fonseca.